blogs seem to be everywhere these days, and SharePoint is no different. And that's okay because they really are a valuable tool to allow individuals or departments or entire companies to share information. We need to know how to use them within SharePoint. And to do so, we could do it from a regular SharePoint site or from a My Site. We're going to do so from Michael Brooks's My Site by accessing the site and going to the left-hand side. All we have to do is click on the link for the blog. Now, Michael hasn't used his blog yet, so there's not a whole lot here except for what comes by default. And that's exactly what we want to see. Remember that blogs are simply different posts that a person wants to make over time. The tools for working with the blog can be found on the right-hand side of the screen. Creating a post, managing posts, managing comments, managing categories, launching a blogging application, and even changing the layout. We're going to run through each of these. But remember, first and foremost, a blog is simply a special type of SharePoint list. So from the top of the screen, we do have a Page tab. And from the Page tab, we can edit this page. When we want to work with the actual blog content, though, I recommend that you stick to the right-hand side of the screen. If we want to create a new post, simply click or tap the link that says Create a Post. The form for creating posts is fairly simple. You have a title, and you have the body, and then of course you can apply categories. So for the title, we're simply going to say, Yay, I'm using my blog. I know, that may not be the most interesting blog title, but it'll work for our purposes. Now, of course, we need to enter the body of the blog message. Again, we're not going to spend a lot of time typing. When you're working with this, you can use the Format Text tab and even the Insert tab to add all kinds of wonderful content, pictures, links, tables, and so forth to make your blog post more exciting and easier to read. If you want to select a topic at the bottom or a category, you can do that. It's not required. Lastly, you can choose a publish date and time. When everything's finished, all the way at the bottom, simply click or tap Publish. That's all there is to creating a new blog entry. But I wanted to show you another alternative because, like I've said many different times before, I am not the best typist, and typing within SharePoint isn't necessarily the best tool. I'm very comfortable in Microsoft Word, and if you have Office installed, you can use the option on the right-hand side that says Launch the other blogging application. That would be Word. Now you have to take note that when you click on that, it doesn't always bring it to the forefront. In other words, you may have to come down to your taskbar and give it a click. The very first time you use it, and only the first time you use it, you need to connect the two. You need to tell Microsoft Word where it's supposed to publish the information you're about to type. If you start it from within SharePoint, then the address or the URL is already there. If you want to work with adding pictures, you can click on Picture Options, but the default is to use the same picture that's used already in your My Site. So really, all you should need to do is click OK. It may take a few seconds or a little bit longer to contact your blog provider, which in this case is Microsoft, and hopefully it comes up and tells you that your account registration is successful. Simply click OK. Now you're ready to get to work, but notice we are in Microsoft Word with all of the wonderful, fabulous tools that we have in Word. You do need to make sure that you enter your post title in the appropriate spot. That actually is a field. We'll have Michael post something about SharePoint 2013 training. And then, of course, in the body of the document, you can type to your heart's content. And we, again, won't spend a lot of time doing that. I think you get the idea. Take a quick look at the ribbon, though. Because we are in this as a blogging tool, we have a blog post tab. This gives us the opportunities to publish, to go to our home page, to insert categories, to open existing content or posts that we want to edit, and to manage our blog accounts, as well as some cut, copy, paste, and formatting tools. We're going to go ahead and click on Publish, wait for it to contact our blog provider, which is SharePoint, and that's all we have to do. It notifies us at the top of the screen, this post was published to the blog, and it gives you a date and a time. So we're finished. Let's go ahead and close Word. You can save your changes if you want to. When you come back into your blog, it's a good idea to refresh the screen. That's because this is a web page, and we were working in Word. So even though our new blog post was actually published, it did not refresh the browser. Now we can see both of the new posts that we've made. So far, this is really easy, right? Now you know how to create posts in different ways. If you ever want to manage your posts, you can use that link on the right side of the screen. And I've been promising you that a blog is simply a glorified SharePoint list, and I wouldn't lie. So what that means is each one of these posts is simply a list item. If you want to get rid of one or to otherwise edit it, you can select it, and you can move to the ribbon, and you can view the item, edit the item, or even delete the item. If we go back, from the right side of the screen, you will also see that we can manage comments. If or when people make comments to our blog posts, we can again do the same thing. Hopefully you won't have to do this very often, if at all. But on occasion, somebody may post a comment that's not appropriate or that they just wish they could take back. You can go in and you can delete those comments as well. In a similar way, you can manage categories. There are some default categories that come with your blog. They include ideas, opinions, and events. Well, those are all very nice and certainly useful, but you can add, edit, and delete these items as well. So maybe Michael needs to talk about different types of training. Maybe he needs to talk about SharePoint. Notice that there is only one field. This is probably the most simple form you'll ever fill out in SharePoint. So we'll add a SharePoint category and then a new item, and since he's the training manager, maybe we'll also talk about scheduling. In case you were wondering, when the link at the top of the page says Home, that's not the home of the SharePoint sites, it's not the home of Michael's My Site, it's actually the home page of the blog. This is how you get back to all of your tools that you have for working with the blogs. And we've pretty much been through all of them. We've created and managed posts, we've talked about managing comments, we've managed categories, we've launched the blogging app. The last thing, I guess, would be to see if we can change the layout. Just to make it a little more interesting, let's go with the boxed layout. If you don't like it, you can change it to something else. So just like your blog should represent your ideas and your thoughts, the theme or the look that you apply should also represent you. One last thing before we go. On the left-hand side of the screen is where you can also work with the content and the structure of your blog. You can see the different categories, and you can click on these to go to posts that are specifically applied to those categories. You also can add a category from here without having to use the link on the right-hand side. And SharePoint will also automatically make archives based on the months and eventually the years that you've been using your blog. Whether you've been part of the blogosphere for a long time or you're just entering this new way of communication, what you now know is blogs are available in SharePoint, and they're available in a couple of different areas. For projects, teams, departments, or the entire company, they're available in team sites. For your own personal use, they're available in your My Site. No matter where they're located, they all function the same way. Once you know how to work with one, you know how to work with them all. Because they're simply specialized lists, you can work with posts, comments, and categories as you would any other list items. You can create new posts from within SharePoint or using Word as your blogging application. You can also choose the layout or design for your blog pages. Even though they're simple, you do have a few choices. Remember that using the blog can have tremendous business benefit when it's used appropriately. So always be sure that you check and follow your company's policies as they relate to what should be posted using blogs. Welcome to the blogosphere.